Thank you for joining Stamp It Up with Kathy. Today we are making a card with the Snailed It suite from Stampin' Up. And this is the card we're making, and this is the inside. We are going to put a little fun stamp on our envelope, and we're going to use this postage stamp punch that is in the annual catalog. Let's get started. First of all, we're going to pull in the pieces that we need. This is our Bermuda Bay card base. It measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we have two pieces of Whisper White. They're 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Both pieces. One is for the inside of the card, and the other one is for the outside. We are going to. I've cut some strips of paper, just the size of, I don't know, they're about 3/4 of an inch by 3 7/8 inches, and we just kind of are going to line them up and glue them on with liquid glue on the front of the card. I'm going to change the orientation of the snails. I'm going to do, on this one I did one here and then one here. I'm going to do top and bottom on this one, just to give you another idea of how you can do it. Also, you don't have to use the same size scraps. You could use different sizes. We're going to put liquid glue on the back of our pieces, if I can get it to start working. Here, let's see. Sometimes it gets a little clogged. Okay, now it looks like it's working. So we're going to leave just a tiny bit of a white border at the top, probably close to 1/8 of an inch, maybe a 1/16, somewhere in there. So we got that. Then the next we're going to do the pink one that has this, looks like the cursive scallops on it. And we're going to put that on next. We're leaving just a little bit of a border in between each piece. It's like my glue is getting on its last legs here. There we go. We've got that one. Then we're gonna do another one with the squiggly lines on it. Okay. And then the next one is another of the one that has the yellow background with all the mail and the packages. And the very last one is going to be the snails. They're so, oops. Okay. So I have just a little bit extra border at the bottom. I'm going to trim that off. Let me just take that and trim that with my paper trimmer. There we go. Okay, if you get to the end and you have just a little bit too much white showing, you can always trim that off. And then we're going to use liquid glue and glue this on the front of our card. There we go. Bring our card base in. We're gonna set that right there in the middle. Okay, the next step is out of the Snailed It Designer Series paper, I used one of the Snailed It dies. Let me show you the one that I used. I used this one right here, and I actually just cut this right out of the Designer Series paper. So you can, there is a stamp where you can stamp this particular item and cut it out. I just used it out of the Designer Series paper for this one. And as you can see, it's a different one than I used in the other one. The other one I had to fussy cut because it was, we don't have a die cut for that one. Also, my hello was die cut with this little speech bubble out of one of the pieces of Designer Series paper. The one that has the mushrooms on the back. There we go. Okay, so we are going to put dimensionals on the back of this piece, and this is not a square piece, so you just want to watch which direction you put it down, just to make sure you can get all that you want on it. Okay, so we're gonna put this in the kind of in the center of our card front, and we'll take the backing off of the dimensionals. There we go. And we can put that right about here. Oh, got a little heart there. Okay, then we're going to put the snail on this side, and I'm just going to use liquid glue, and I'm going to put a small dimensional right here because that part is going to hang off a little bit, and that way it won't get flattened down and not look right. It'll still have the same. So we're going to put that right here, and then I'm going to push down my little dimensional right there. This hello we're going to do with liquid glue, and we'll just put a little bit on the back. And then I thought it would be fun. I used this piece on the inside to decorate it. When you cut this out, it comes with a bunch of little tiny hearts. And I thought it would be fun to decorate the front of it with some of these little cute hearts. So we're gonna do, you wanna try to make a triangle when you do this. So let's see, we'll do one right here, one right here, and one over here. And I'm going to use my take your pick tool to pick up my little heart. Makes it easier. And then we'll just set them where we want them. Okay, one more. There we go. So what do you think of this front side of the card? Now we can work on the inside. We are going to take and we're going to stamp "You've Got Mail" on the inside with this cute little snail. Let's use Memento Tuxedo Black ink. That way we can color it with our Stampin' blends or colored pencils, whatever you want to use, and it's gonna not smear everywhere. So we've got "You've Got Mail." Stamp it down. Looks like we got a really good image. We're gonna give that just a minute or two to dry, just so we don't smear it. I have brought in a piece of mail that I used a die cut from the snail mail set to kind of add a little bit of fun designs to this. And we're going to put the letter right here, the envelope, and then the letter, this is the actual letter, we'll put that right about here. And then we're going to glue our hearts right across the top. And I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid glue on this, if I can get it to come out. And this is a little bit bigger than the inside of my card, but what we're going to do is we're going to take and trim it off with our paper snips where we need it trimmed. And this is kind of being crooked. There we go, that's a little better. So there we go. Now we're going to add some more of those hearts. We're just going to kind of sporadically place them. We're going to use our take your pick tool again. And let's see, we're going to put one here. Whoops, there. And one here. And you want them to go different directions to look like they're falling from the sky, just for fun. And one more. This one is upside down. I'm trying to get it to flip over. It's not cooperating. Let's see here. There we go. And there's the last one. Now for our little snail, we've let him dry long enough. I think we can color him. We're going to use Bermuda Bay, and I think I used Melon Mambo in my sample. You could use, and then real red for the heart on the envelope. Okay, so this is the real red part. We're going to do that right here. And then the snail itself, we're going to color the body with Bermuda Bay. You could also use the stamping blends if you wanted to color with those instead of the colored pencils. Gives you different, Stampin' Up! Has a lot of different options for coloring, which makes it very nice. So you can pick the one that you are most happy with and enjoy doing. Okay, so now for our snail little round portion, we're going to use Melon Mambo. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the water painters, and you just want to make sure you have a clean tip before you change colors, but this blends our colors to make them look more like they're watercolored than a colored pencil, which is really cool. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to use a scrap piece of paper and clean my brush out before I start with the pink color. And we're just kind of blending it in to make it look like we watercolored it, which we did. We just used watercolor pencils. Okay, clear that off. Okay, and then just a little bit on the heart on the inside. There we go. Okay, now we cleaned our brush out, put the lid back on it. Now, we can give this just a moment to dry, and then we will put this on the inside of our card. I'm going to use liquid glue again, just a little bit around the edges. You don't want to use too much because that'll make your paper wrinkle. Okay, there we go. Let's bring our card back in, and we're going to put this right here. There we go. We've got this card done. Here's the one that we just finished, and this is the one that I did earlier before we got together. Now let's do our envelope. The way I did the envelope was I took real red ink and Happy Mail enclosed stamp. So I just tapped it gently in the real red ink. Then I'm going to put it right here on the paper, stamp it down firmly, and lift it off. Okay, looks good. We're going to close up our real red ink, because if we get our fingers in that, it will be messy. Next, we're going to take our punch, and we are going to if you turn it over upside down, you can insert your paper, and make sure you have your image centered. And once you get it where you want it, you punch it out. There we go. Okay. And then you just take a little bit of liquid glue, put it on the back, and then you can put it on the front of your envelope. There you go. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and we hope to see you soon. Have a blessed day.